The sky above the frontier colony shimmered with distant stars that held mysteries far older than any human chart could show. The quiet settlement sat at the edge of the known sectors, a place where traders, explorers, and wanderers from many species passed through in uneasy harmony. Among them lived a human guard named Leon, a man with little rank, but steady hands and a sense of duty that had earned him the trust of those who worked beside him. Leon had come to the frontier for a simple life, one that offered purpose without the weight of grand commands. His outpost stood near a transport hub that served the visiting fleets of the Royal Lyran Dominion, a society of tall, luminous beings whose bodies shimmered like crystals under starlight. Most humans found them distant and cold, but Leon saw something familiar in their discipline, their loyalty, and the silent security escorts who trained beside him. On the morning the crisis began, Leon was patrolling the east perimeter. The air held the dry scent of desert wind and the soft hum of passing carriers. Nothing suggested danger until a sudden tremor shook the outpost. Leon steadied himself and scanned the horizon. A flash of violet fire split the sky, and a transport vessel spiraled downward, trailing shards of metal that hissed as they cut the air. Alarms wailed, and the ground crew scrambled for cover. Leon sprinted toward the crash site without waiting for orders. Smoke billowed from the wreck, and the hull glowed from internal heat. He pulled a handkerchief across his mouth and forced his way through twisted beams. A faint sound reached him, a soft cry that did not belong to any adult warrior. Leon pushed debris aside and found a small figure curled under a collapsed support strut. The child's skin gave off a gentle silver glow, and her eyes widened when she saw him approach. He knelt beside her and lifted the beam with a strained breath. The child flinched but did not run. Leon wrapped his jacket around her and picked her up. She clung to his chest with trembling hands. Outside, shouts echoed through the smoke as guards from both species converged. A Lyran officer rushed to him and gasped when he saw the child. The officer shouted for medical staff and a protective escort. Leon handed the girl to the medics, but remained beside her until she vanished into the shielded medical cabin. Soldiers formed a perimeter around the wreck, and fragments of scorched armor revealed, symbols of a hostile raider faction that had long threatened border worlds. The attack changed everything. The transport had been carrying the young heir of the Lyran Dominion, the daughter of the ruling queen. Her presence on the frontier had been kept secret. Now the truth spread through the colony with a chill of fear. Any assault on the air meant a declaration of intent from enemies unknown. The Lyran forces locked down the settlement and summoned reinforcements. Hours later, Leon stood in the briefing chamber where the senior command reviewed witness statements. The Lyran officer recounted how Leon had found the child and shielded her from further collapse. He described how Leon carried her through fire as the transport risked secondary explosions. The room grew silent, and even the senior humans glanced at Leon with new respect. When the meeting dismissed, he felt a firm hand on his shoulder. A Lyran captain bowed to him, a gesture given only to those who had performed great service. Leon accepted it with awkward humility and returned to his quarters, unaware that his life had already shifted beyond anything he expected. 2 days later, a royal vessel descended onto the colony. Its hull gleamed with the deep azure hue reserved for the Dominion's ruling house. Thousands gathered as the queen herself stepped onto the landing platform. Her tall form radiated a soft inner light that shimmered like starlit ice. Behind her floated attendants in silver robes. The air seemed to still as she moved. Leon stood at the back of the assembled guard detachment. He did not expect to be noticed. Yet the queen's gaze swept the crowd and halted when she found him. She stepped forward, and the guards around her parted. "You carried my child from fire," she said in a voice that resonated like a calm bell. "You shielded her with your own body. You have done what many sworn to me failed to do. Leon bowed low. I only did what anyone would have done. Her expression softened. Few act without delay in moments of danger. You did so without hesitation. The queen turned to her entourage and spoke a command. 2 attendants approached Leon and asked him to accompany them to the royal residence built for the duration of her stay. Leon followed, unsure of the reason. Inside he found the young heir resting under the watch of medics. When she saw him, she reached out with a small hand. Leon stepped closer, and the child smiled, her glow brightening. The queen observed them with quiet reflection. She trusts you, the queen said. She does not warm to strangers easily. Leon nodded. She is safe now. That is what matters. The queen paused, then spoke with gravity. You will remain with us. Leon blinked. Your Majesty, my duty is to the outpost. My command expects me to continue security service. The queen lifted her hand. Your presence is no longer a matter of common service. You are bound to my house by what you did. Many warriors of my people have trained all their lives to guard the royal line. Yet you, a human with no blood ties, gave yourself to protect her. That act carries weight in our culture. Leon tried to respond, but the queen continued. The raiders who attacked the transport remain at large. They will strike again when they learn she survived. We cannot allow vulnerability around her. She will remain near me, and you will remain near her. You have earned that place. Leon felt the room tilt around him. Are you saying I cannot leave until you decide otherwise? The queen inclined her head. That is correct. You may send word to your command, but you will not depart this territory. Your life is tied to hers now. Leon struggled to keep his voice steady. Your Majesty, I never sought such responsibility. That is why you are worthy of it, she replied. Thus began Leon's new life as an unplanned guardian of the royal heir. He was given chambers near the child's hall and trained alongside Lyran protectors whose combat art blended graceful motions with bursts of harmonic energy. At first, Leon felt alien among them. Their bodies moved with fluid ease, while his human form relied on muscle and instinct. Yet the instructors respected him and showed him how to adapt their techniques to his strengths. Daily routines formed. Leon accompanied the child, whom they called Mira, during her lessons and play sessions. She grew attached to him quickly, laughing when he lifted her onto his shoulders, or taught her simple human games that required no speech. Her bright eyes followed him everywhere. The queen observed these moments from a distance. Her expression often carried a note of silent satisfaction. Yet beneath her composed exterior lay tension. Raiders had been sighted near the border. Scouts reported signals that suggested a larger movement. The queen intensified her security measures and prepared for hostile action. One night the alarms blared across the palace grounds. Leon jerked awake and grabbed his gear. Explosions thundered at the outer wall. Mira screamed from her chamber, and Leon rushed to her side. A squad of masked raiders cut through the corridor. Leon placed Myra behind him and drew his sidearm. The first raider charged, and Leon fired, driving him back. Another swung a blade of dark alloy, and Leon blocked with a shock baton. He pushed forward and knocked the attacker down. The corridor filled with shouts as Lyran guards converged. Leon held Myra against him and retreated toward the inner chambers. The queen appeared with her elite guard. Her eyes blazed with fierce light. She saw Leon shielding Mira with his body once more. A pulse of energy burst from her outstretched palm and sent the last raider collapsing in a swirl of violet sparks. The attack was repelled, but the threat was far from over. The raiders had targeted the palace directly. Their ability to reach the inner rings indicated they had inside knowledge. The queen ordered a full security lockdown. Leon stayed near Myra as the medics checked her for injuries. She clung to him with silent fear. When morning came, the queen summoned Leon to the council chamber. He stood before her as she paced with controlled intensity. "You protected her again," she said. "Not because of command, not because of duty, because it is who you are." Leon bowed. "I could not let harm come to her." She studied him carefully. "Your loyalty is no longer questioned. There is a tradition in our culture. Those who save the life of an heir earn a place within the royal line. You did so twice. I told you before that you would not depart. Now I make it formal." Leon looked up. "Formal in what way?" "You will remain within my house permanently," she said. "You will be her guardian in title, not only in duty. You will stay beside her until she reaches maturity and beyond if she chooses your presence." Leon exhaled. "Your Majesty, that means giving up my life on earth, my free movement, my command. Everything I knew would be gone." The queen stepped closer. "Your life changed the moment you lifted her from fire. You showed a heart that my people honor. I will not release you, for you are now part of her future." Leon sensed the finality in her voice. He realized that refusing her would bring dishonor in their culture, and possibly danger for the child, because she would see rejection as instability. He looked at Myra, who stood near the door holding a crystal figurine. Her small face showed trust. Leon felt the weight of responsibility, but also a quiet shift within him. He knelt before tea,